Hey there, LEGO fans. Welcome back. Alex here. In this video, I'm going to be responding to a lot of suggestions that I've had from y'all about the display creations on these vehicles here. I have these on the kind of a higher shelf. They're hard to see if they're just on their tires. So I created some basic displays to get them on an angle to show off their many fun features. And there's a lot of approaches you can take to this. There's no right or wrong way. I'll just show you what I did, and hopefully you can draw some inspiration and go from there and improve upon my designs, I'm sure. We'll start with the Caterham 7. That's the smallest and easiest one to display, all the way up to the Bugatti. Now, the Bugatti, I don't actually have that one on a display. It is on its tires because I have it on a lower shelf. But I did create one just for the purpose of this video, just in case you wanted some ideas on those larger 1/8 scale models. We'll start with the Caterham 7. This is the lightest and honestly was the easiest one to put on an angled display. The method I'm using on this one is called a direct connect because I lift it up and it takes the base along with it, so it is connected to the model. Let me go ahead and take it off here, and you can kind of see that I've added these two plates here, these 1x4 gray base plates, just to kind of lift it up a little bit so it clears this angle, because it's not going to connect to that. That would cause problems. But this is it. This is the base or stand. It's very basic triangle. It's very sturdy, and it connects right into the model itself. So it's very, very sturdy. The hardest part about this one really was finding the right balance with it. So you can put the model really high up onto it or really low. What you never ever want to do is have the wheels touching the ground and being part of the display or support. Over time, that will push on the wheels and bend the Lego element or axle that's supporting that wheel. So never do that. Make sure that the whole entire model is lifted off of the ground and free, and the display is the only thing that's on the shelf. You want to make sure that it's not leaning too forward, that there's not too much weight on the front to pull it forward if it's shaken. But as you can see here, it could be balanced a little bit more. But if I push up on here, I do feel some weight, and that's always a good sign to make sure it's nice and sturdy. And this one I can get away with a much sharper angle. The other ones you can't really get away with that because they are a little bit larger, and the weight proportions make it a little bit more challenging. So that is the display for the Caterham 7. James Bond's Aston Martin DB5 will be next, and honestly, this is the one that I put together in record time. It is direct connect, but there is no base. All it is just two of these contraptions on it holding it, and that's it. Just this basic triangle, and I found a spot on it right about there, and I can make this as wide as I want, as long as there's a spot to connect to it right there, and that is really about it. No problem. In fact, the most challenging thing about the Aston was that the door would swing open really easy. So if it's on display, the doors plop open like that. So what I did to fix that problem, I got this little antenna there to go up like that, and that holds the door closed very well. Sometimes you may not like, if you're a perfectionist, you might not like that the display shows in here. You can always touch these up and put some decorative elements to help you out there as well. But yeah, the DB5 was very, very easy to put on an angle and display. The Mustang was a bit of a challenge. The approach I took on this one is the approach that you don't have any technic elements. So you're using very basic bricks to make this angle. So this is a look at it. Again, it's got a whole display stand going on with it. And the main elements that are making this work are these hinge elements. So I've got these two. The kind of display, you do have to cook them together, and they just swivel back and forth. And there are, I think, four areas where that's actually used. You can see two at the top and then two at the bottom. Just using very basic bricks to make that work. It is connected to the chassis. The challenge on this one was finding a balance. It's actually a pretty heavy model, and this one was always wanted to fall forward. So this one is up a little taller. I don't know if I can get a good angle on that for you, but you can see, again, the wheels need to be higher than the base. You never want the wheels touching the ground. I did a little bit of decoration there at the front. Can't match that darker navy blue, unfortunately, but that's the best I got there. But yeah, that's kind of how it is. Let's kind of look at the angle here as best we can. I think it's close to about a 45-degree angle there. Not too bad, but again, this approach not using any technic elements, just a lot of plates and bricks. On to the big boys. This one was a challenge because when we look underneath this guy, he doesn't have anything you can like connect right into, right, with a typical Lego brick. So the approach on this one is it wouldn't be connected, it would just rest on top of the display stand. So this is the display stand I came up with. Again, not super pretty. I know that yellow and black and the gray all kind of mix, but you don't see it. So it's all about having the right pieces. But again, taking advantage of some elements that I have, these very long Technic beams, really worked out for me in this case. So it's going to rest on this side of it. So the challenge here was finding a spot underneath it that it could rest on securely. So I have these two roof elements right here, as well as this 1x6 brick that will fit in the chassis somewhere along the way. So what's challenging about this one is it's not symmetrical. Once this side and this side are not identical, so it will only display in one direction, and that is because of this part right here for me, because the center of gravity is important. You always want to find the center of gravity so it's holding it very sturdy, and that will help it balance, obviously. So I had to go on this side. I was looking right in this area right here to find the right balance. So I think it went right about, I'm going to have to lift this up a little bit, right here. So if it goes right in there, oops, maybe I can, maybe I can't. There we go. So it won't go up or down, it won't go left or right. It's right there, and it's not attached to it, so it'll come right out. But if I put that on there and I put it on display, you'll find out that it's quite sturdy. It's not going anywhere. It's got a good center of gravity, and you can display it without any major concerns of it, going crazy. But again, with this one, keep in mind that if you lift up your model, your display stand stays there, and trying to find that sweet spot might be difficult depending on the complexity of the bottom of your model. So that's the Porsche. All right, last up is the Bugatti. This thing is huge. It's kind of hard to fit it all in the same frame here to see everything. But this is a display that you don't want to skimp out on. You want to make sure this thing is beefy, it's strong, and it's got a hold of your model, because if I were to actually go through, like I just did this afternoon, really quick just for the sake of this video, and if I were to do this all over again, I would probably take a different approach. I don't have the pieces, unfortunately, to really create the display that I want, but I'll just tell you the basic approach I took with this. And now this is a freestand. If I lift this thing up, it will come off. Put this over here. So what I've done here with this is going into certain holes in the Technic beam or the Technic frame where it can. So I've got 5 pins basically holding into it, and this right here, this flat surface, this tiled surface, helps support it so it's not sinking down on it. Because what these heavier models want to do is, if you have it here, it's going to put a lot of pressure right in the middle of this right here. So I put these axles across here to kind of help support that, which I absolutely hate. If I were to do this again, if I had the right pieces, I should say, I would make this a Technic beam as well, and have this connect here down to here. That would be more supportive. But these are the pieces that I have, so you got to go with what you got. But again, try to beef this thing up as much as possible, make it really strong. And this is ultimately what I came up with. Again, trying to be creative with the angles on how this matched up right here, just using these hinges instead of Technic on that, because all these elbows that I have usually have a Technic pin in them to connect them, which is very sturdy. But at the top, I didn't need that to be super strong. I just needed to connect somehow, and that's what I came up with. So looking underneath this thing, just to show you where the pins are going. Again, I've got 5 pins in this thing, and they're going here, 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 and here and here. So those 5 areas right there keep it from slipping. So there it is, nice and snug. And uh-oh, look at that. There's a wobble. There shouldn't be a wobble. It should be nice and flush. So I can tell right here I should add one more plate, actually. So let me do that and put this back on. Okay, I put another layer on there. Let's see if that's better. Yeah, there we go. There's no space right there for this to wobble back and forth. You know, I'm actually glad that happened on camera, because that just proves that there's so much trial and error with this thing. You won't get it right your first time or second time, maybe not even your third time. Yeah, so let's go ahead and put this thing on the display and see if that displays a little bit better. So one last look at the display stand with the car on it. What the stand wants to do is buckle right here. So if you get a beam that is like the full length, that's awesome, or find some more ways to support it. Like I said, a beam that actually goes this way might actually work better than a cross like I have. If I were to create this all again, I would probably have that in mind as a better approach. I mean, it works. It's going to work long term. It's not a problem. If I go to the front here, I mean, yeah, your stand is going to show up a little bit there. You can probably put, I don't know, I put some black elements right there to kind of help cover it up. But all in all, it looks pretty good. It's doing the job. Let me kind of look at the angle here that we've got. It looks like it's a 45-degree angle. Looks pretty darn good for display to kind of save up on that shelf space, as well as just making it look better overall. That's going to wrap it up for the video on custom displays or angle displays for your larger Lego models. Again, it works the best if they're up a little bit higher like this. Again, make sure that the tires are not touching the ground. I've learned from sad experience that if you use the tires as part of the display, they will bend over time. It's just a sad thing. The Bugatti will go back over here on this shelf with the Batmobile. But you know what though, I might hold on to that display anyway. You never know when it will come in handy, right? Okay guys, well yeah, thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think, and hope everybody is staying safe and healthy in this time of quarantine, and we'll get all through this hopefully very soon. But in the meantime, we are lucky and fortunate enough to have the internet, right? Which allows us to connect this way and still enjoy this fun Lego hobby. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll have more stuff here again very soon, and you guys have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.